Alright guys, hello and welcome to the next segment of my How to Ride a Motorcycle video series. In this segment, we won't really be doing any riding today because, which you can probably see, it is raining. And it's not fun to ride in the rain. I've done it from personal experience, and yeah, it's not fun. So today we're going to be going over some preliminary stuff before you can even really think about getting a bike for yourself. So what that mainly involves is getting your license, which I have mine right here. And once you get your license, you can see that right there you get Class M for motorcycle. And that means, well, you can legally ride a motorcycle. So there are two ways that you can get your motorcycle license. The first way, which is the way that I did not do, was you can drive yourself up to the MVA, tell them that you would like to get a motorcycle license, and then you will take a written test, or I guess nowadays it's on the computer, kind of like the learner's permit test that you took on the little touchscreen thing. So you'll take one of those, and then if you pass, you get a motorcycle's learner's permit. And what you can do with that is you can ride when there's someone on the back, and you can, it's kind of like, it's basically just like a learner's permit for a car. You can do the same things that you can do on a learner's permit in a car on a bike. So as I said, someone has to be on the back, but you can still ride wherever you want to go as long as you have your permit with you. And then at the end of, I believe it is 2 weeks, you drive back to the MVA, and you need a friend who has a motorcycle or yours, or your bike if you already bought one, so that you can take a riding test at the MVA. And although it's the same test as the class, which I'm going to talk about next, the MVA instructors aren't going to be as forgiving on like a slight mistake because they work for the MVA, and let's face it, people at the MVA do things by the book. So I would say that way is the harder way of having go to the MVA, pass a test to get your learner's permit, and then ride for a couple weeks, and then go back and actually take a written test in order to get your license. So I think that's a little much, having to go back and forth, having to worry about bringing a motorcycle, whether it's yours or your buddy's, to the test. And I just don't really think that's the practical way. So the way that I did is I took what's called the basic rider course. And right in front of me here, I have my little handbook that I got from when I took it last year in August. So how that works is that you go online and you search for the, at least in Howard County, you would search for the Howard County Motorcycle Basic Rider Course. And it would come up with a link on the HCC website. And what you do there is you would register for either the Basic Rider Course or the Absolute Basic Rider Course. The difference between the two is the Absolute Basic Rider Course is going to be smaller. So the instructors there will have time to give you a little bit more personal attention than the Basic Rider course itself. And I took the Basic Rider course. There was about, I want to say 10 to 12 other people. I was the youngest, and we had people who were in their early 20s. There was a dad there in his 50s. So there's all kinds of people, about equally men and women. So that's what I did. And how that basically works is you register for the course, and then once you're all signed up, there will be a couple meetings in one of the classrooms at HCC where you go over the laws, how to ride safely, the parts of a bike. So it just gives you the basic overview of motorcycling, what you need to know when you're out on the road, the laws of it, as I said. And the course that I did, it was 2 nights from about, I want to say 5 to 9, so about 8 hours total in the classroom. And then once you completed that, you go over the weekend to what's called the range there, and they provide bikes for you, And what you do there is you practice all the slow speed riding skills. Literally the first thing you do is you practice walking the bike in a straight line and then back. So they start at the absolute basics, and you progress up and up. And then at the end of the first day, you know, you mastered all the stuff that you need to do in first gear, or hopefully you've mastered. And then the second day, you go a little bit faster. You start getting up into second and I think even third gear. And at the end of the second day, you take the same riding test you would at the MVA. Only the difference is that at the course, for about the second half of the second day, you practice the four things that you will need to complete in order to pass the test at the course itself. So they let you practice each one about, I want to say, at least 5 times before you take the test itself, where it actually matters. So what the 4 things you have to complete to get your to pass the riding portion of the exam is, first of all, you have to complete a figure 8 inside a designated area. It's a rectangular box painted on the ground. I myself did not do too hot on that one. I would say that's the hardest part of the riding portion. But luckily, even if you do not complete that portion, you cannot fail the exam, which is good. So after that, you practice a swerve, so you'll accelerate to the designated speed, and then you'll complete a swerving maneuver. So that's the second one. The third one is a hard braking, so you'll accelerate up to, I believe, between 15 and 20 miles per hour, and then slam on the brakes once you pass a certain line. So that's the third one. And then the last one is, all you have to do is complete 2 turns, 2 like banking turns. And then if you complete all those, you pass the riding portion. And then immediately after the riding portion, you go back into the classroom to complete a written test to see if you can remember the stuff that you learned in the classroom, which is just as important. And then if you pass both of those, you get a certificate, and then you have 90 days. No, excuse me, it's a little more than 90 days. I think it's a couple months. You have a couple months, then you can take that certificate to the MVA, and then you get your motorcycle license. So just a quick little look at the book that they give you. Here are the table of contents right here. Different type of bikes. Oh yeah, I'm actually gonna use this in a second, so that's helpful. Let's see. It's talking about some safety gear. You should always wear a helmet. I'll be talking about that in a later video. Some stuff right here of how to turn the bike on or how to prepare it for riding, and then basically how to ride. So yeah, it's very helpful. You know, I would say that they really pay a lot of attention to you, even if you were in the basic rider course like I was, and not the absolute one. But I highly recommend that. The course costs $350, but it is well worth it. You will really learn what you need to know to ride a motorcycle. So that should do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you know what you need to do now if you're looking to get your motorcycles license. And yeah, that should do it. All right, guys, have a good one.